Hello everyone, myself Prashant Patil. Today we will see new point of topic linked list of subject data structure. Before starting new point, just we recall the previous lecture points. In previous lecture we discussed types of linked list, which is third type, circular linked list. Also we discussed definition of circular linked list. Also we studied how to create circular linked list. Also we discussed operations on circular linked list, which are insertion operation, deletion operation and traversing operation. Today we will see new point which are memory allocation or how to allocate memory. Also we will discuss garbage collection. In garbage collection we will discuss mark and sweep algorithm. First we will see memory allocation. The block of information in a memory system is called as memory allocation. First we will see what is meant by memory. Actually, memory is the process by which information is encoded, information is stored and retrieved. Encoding allows information that is from the outside the world to reach our senses in the form of chemical and physical situations. Now we will see what is meant by allocation. An allocation is something that you set aside for use. Of instance, if you want to set aside a certain amount of hard drive space or hard drive memory for an application, you can allocate how much in the settings. To allocate memory, it is necessary to keep in information of available memory in the system. Means how much memory is available in your system, that much memory we can allocate by using the inbuilt functions. If memory management system finds sufficient free memory, it allocates only as much memory as needed, keeping the rest available to satisfy future request. Means if memory is available, then and then only it will be allocated by the inbuilt function. In memory allocation has two types. The first, static and dynamic memory allocation. In static memory allocation, the size of the memory may be required for that much be defined before loading and executing the program. Actually, static memory means before the executing the program, when we allocate the memory for the variable, this is called as a static memory allocation. For example, when you write any program in C language, suppose if you want to add two numbers, before adding two numbers we have to declare three number of variables. For example, integer a, b, sum. These are the three different variables. Means that these three number of variables allocate the memory before the execution of the program, which is called as the static memory allocation. The next one is dynamic memory allocation. In dynamic memory allocation, the memory is allocated to a variable or the program at runtime. Runtime means when we execute the program, at that time it will be allocate the memory for this particular variable, which is called as a dynamic memory allocation. The only way to access this dynamically allocated memory is through pointer. Means suppose if you want to access this particular allocated memory at runtime, it will be accessed through the pointers. Now we will see here memory allocation functions. In this table contains number of memory allocation functions which are already been declared in C library. The name of the function is malloc or malloc, which allocates request size of bytes and returns a pointer first byte of allocated space. The malloc is a function allocate a block of size of bytes from an memory heap. It allows a program to allocate memory as it's needed and in exact amount is needed. The second one is calloc or calloc. Allocates space for an array elements, initializes to 0 and then returns a pointer to memory. The declaration of realloc calloc is normally used for requesting memory space at runtime. Actually, it stores data types such as array and structures. Basically, calloc is used for array and structures. Allocates multiple blocks of requested memory. As you know that when we declare the array, which requires multiple blocks to store the values or elements. calloc allocates memory to hold near about 30 records. Allocates specified number of bytes. Means whatever we specify here, that number of bytes will be allocated by the calloc or calloc. Initially initialize all the bytes to 0. The next one, which is free. Deallocate the previously allocated space. Actually, this is one inbuilt function already exists in C library. When we execute the free function, it releases allocated block of memory. The free deallocates a memory block allotted by a previous call to calloc, malloc and realloc. The next one is realloc. Change the size of previously allocated space. Suppose if you want to change the previously allocated size, it can be changed by using the realloc. The declaration of realloc function is void pointer realloc in bracket void pointer block size bracket complete end with semicolon. Actually, recall adjust the size of allocated block to size, copying the content to a new location if it is necessary. If block pointer is null pointer, then reallocate works just like a malloc. Now we can see here allocation a block of memory malloc. Malloc function is used for allocating block of memory at runtime. When we execute any C program, at that time if you want to allocate one memory block for this particular element, then we can use here malloc function. This function receives a block of memory of a given size and returns a pointer of type void. Basically, already we discussed, suppose when you allocate a memory at runtime, this kind of memory is returned to particular pointer. Means here pointer is required to store the return memory address. Now see the statement ptr is a pointer is equal to typecast, means typecasting is there, then pointer malloc is an inbuilt function in bracket byte size. By using the statement, we can allocate a memory at runtime. Now we can see here one example. First we declare one structure. Inside the structure which contains integer type variable enumber, name character type variable, eSalary is float type variable. Inside a main, first we create one pointer ptr by using a emp. Now here emp is user defined data type which is called as typecasting. Here going to use ptr is equal to str emp malloc and size of struct emp. Means for this particular structure how much memory is required, this memory is allocated by the malloc function, and this allocated memory address which is assigned to pointer variable ptr. Initially if ptr is equal to null, then out of memory. If suppose memory is not present, means pointer ptr is contains null, then out of memory it will be executed. If suppose malloc allocate some amount of memory to particular pointer variable ptr, then enter inside a else statement. Once enter inside a else statement, then printf, inside a printf enter the employee details, it will be executed. Afterwards user will be enter some details of employee. The first detail, which is employee number, also enter the employee name, also enter the employee salary, and this all details stored inside a memory block which is allocated by the malloc. Allocation a block of memory which is called as calloc or calloc. Calloc is another memory allocation function that is used for allocating memory at runtime. Already we discussed malloc. This also allocate the memory at runtime. Calloc function is normally used for allocating memory to derived data types such as array and structures. Actually, calloc is basically designed for derived data types, which is arrays and structure. Already we discussed in chapter number 1 what is meant by derived data types. Which data types comes from which is called as derived data type. The syntax, which is ptr is equal to or pointer variable is equal to typecasting calloc and element size. Calloc allocate memories and allocated memory which is assigned to pointer variable ptr. Now we will see here one example. In this example, first we declare two integer type variables I and n. Also we declare one pointer variable a. The next statement is printf statement, and number of elements to be entered, means how much element you want to enter. This entered element is stored in variable n. Then we can use here calloc. By using this calloc or calloc function, allocate a memory at runtime, and allocated memory is assigned to particular pointer variable a. Then printf statement is there, enter number, means suppose if you want to enter 5 numbers, then this 5 is stored in variable n. Then for loop is there. Inside a for loop, I is equal to 0, I is less than n. For example, n is 5, means this for loop will be executed 5 times. When this for loop executed 5 times, then user can enter 5 number of elements in the array a. Then printf the number of numbers entered are. Now whatever numbers are entered by the user, all the numbers will be displayed by using this next for loop. For I is equal to 0, I is less than n, and I plus plus. I is less than n means I is less than 5. Also this for loop will be executed 5 times. Whatever data is stored in the array a will be displayed by using the printf. Afterwards free function is used. When we use the free function, and it will be executed, afterwards all allocated memory which is released by the free function, and then return 0. Now see the output. Number of elements to be entered 3. Enter 3 numbers 22, 55 and 14. All entered numbers is stored in a memory block which is allocated at runtime by the calloc function. Afterwards, whatever we allocate these three numbers will be displayed by using the last for loop. The numbers entered are 22, 55 and 44. The next one is altering the size of a block, which is realloc. Realloc changes the memory size that is already allocated dynamically to a variable. Now the syntax, which is ptr is a pointer is equal to realloc ptr comma new size, means already we already allocate 10 size, and then afterwards we require 15 sites. Then we can reallocate by using the realloc function. And then allocated size is assigned to pointer variable ptr. For example, first we will allocate memory by using malloc function at runtime. Then declare pointer variable ptr new. Also we declare here I is the integer type variable inside a pointer variable which contains the element 10. Then the next statement is ptr plus 1 is equal to 20. Afterwards, again ptr new is a new pointer is equal to realloc. Actually realloc which reallocate some memory or resize the memory. Suppose if you want to increase the memory, then in pointer ptr new plus 2 is equal to 30. Means here already we allocate little amount of memory. Afterwards we will allocate increased memory plus 2. Then it will be executed for loop for I is equal to 0, I less than 3, I plus plus. Means this for loop will be executed 3 times. Afterwards, when we execute the for loop, then we will get the output 10, 20 and 30. Releasing the used space, which is free. Actually free is one inbuilt function inside a C library. This function should be called on a pointer that was used either with calloc, malloc, otherwise the function will destroy the memory management, making a system to crash. Suppose if you want to delete or remove the memory which is already allocated by the calloc and malloc function, then we will execute the free function. For example, in the function which contains two pointers, integer type pointers, pointer ptr, p. These are the two different pointers. ptr is equal to new. Actually new is a one operator which allocate the memory at runtime, integer 100. Then p is equal to new int. Afterwards delete ptr. Now here free or delete, we can use any function to remove the allocated space, already allocated space by the malloc and calloc. The next point is what is garbage collection. Garbage collection is the process by which unused objects are deleted to reclaim memory space. Basically, this invented by John McGrath around 1959 to solve the problem in labs. First, we will discuss what is meant by garbage collection. Actually, garbage collection is a mechanism that provides automatic memory reclaim for unused memory blocks. Programmers dynamically allocated memory, but when a block is no longer needed, then do not have to return it is the system explicitly the free call. The GC or garbage collection engine takes care of recognize that a particular block of allocated memory, it is not used anymore, and put it back into the free memory area. Garbage collection was introduced by John McGrath in 1959 as the memory management mechanism of the language. Since then, garbage collection algorithms have evolved and now can complete the explicit memory management. Basically, many different approaches to garbage collection exist, resulting in some of the algorithms that includes reference counting. Actually, garbage collection is the systematic recovery computer storage that is being used by a program when the program no longer needed the storage. This frees the storage for use by another programs. It also ensures that a program using increases amount of pooled storage does not reach its quota. Now we will see here mark and sweep algorithm. Any garbage collection algorithm must perform two basic operations. One, it should be able to detect all the unreachable objects, and secondly, it must be reclaims the heap space used by the garbage objects and make space available again to the program. All this operation performed by the mark and sweep algorithm in two different phases. The first phase, which is mark phase, and the second phase is sweep phase. First we will see mark phase. When an object is created, its marks bit is set to 0 or false. In the mark phase, we set the mark bit for all the reachable objects or the object which is user can refer to 1 or true. Now to perform this operation, we simply need to do a graph traversal or depth first search approach. Would work for us. Here we can consider every object as a node, and then all the nodes or objects that are reachable from this node or object are visited, and it goes on till we have visited all the reachable nodes or the objects. Now here root is the variable that refers to an object and directly accessible by the local variable. We will assume that we have one root only. We can access the mark bit an object by marked bit in bracket object. Then the next one is the sweep phase. As the name suggests, it sweeps the unreachable objects, that is, it clears the heap memory for all the unreachable objects. All these objects whose marked value is set to false or 0 are cleared from the heap memory. For all other objects are marked bit is set to true or 1. Now the mark value for all the reachable objects is set to false, since we will run the algorithm, and again we will go through the mark phase to mark all the reachable objects. The mark and sweep algorithm is called a tracing garbage collector because it traces out the entire collection of objects that are directly or indirectly accessible by the programs. Thank you.